Good evening, good morning, good afternoon. This is John with 20's on the 20's, and today we have Miles on the show. So,
How's it going, man?
thanks for joining.
Thanks for joining.
man. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. What would you say is the most interesting thing about you?
Like things that I just don't normally tell people.
Yeah.
Black belt in Taekwondo.
Oh.
I leave that off the table completely.
Why?
It's just not like something I try to like mention towards anyone just because like I want to be put off, them to be put off by that.
Who would be put off by something like that, do you think?
I don't know. It's kind of weird. Like I just try not to mention things about my past because like I want to keep my past secret.
Oh. You're like that Karate Kid in 20 years, you know? Like,
Oh God, Mr. Miyagi. A couple punks come up like, you want this?
so how long you been doing Taekwondo?
So I actually stopped like midway through high school. I'd been doing it since like third grade. So I got about like 5 or 6 years into it. Got the black belt. Did a couple of lessons and like teaching stuff.
Yeah.
But it was a good time.
Why'd you stop?
Mainly just to focus on school.
Yeah, that's
Like
fair.
I pretty much learned all I can, and I was like, maybe it's time to just
Oh.
not do it
So you
anymore.
became Mr. Miyagi.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh.
Daniel's
okay.
son.
So where are you from?
Born and raised right here in Minnesota, right over in Champlin.
In Champlin. How was that?
You know, every time I mention that I'm from Champlin, people always go like, "Where is that?" And I have to mention like it's in the middle of a bunch of better known cities.
It's pretty
Like
accurate. Yeah.
Anoka to the north, like Brooklyn Park south, Osseo down south, Maple Grove, and then
Yeah.
Brooklyn Center. They all know that city, but they don't know the one in the middle.
How big is Champlin?
It's actually pretty small for what it is.
Yeah.
It just goes about from 109th, like passing 169, all the way to the bridge to get to Anoka. It's like Champlin. It's a very small window.
Okay. Where'd you go to school?
I went straight to Champlin Park all throughout like the years because they had 3 schools going up one street.
Oh.
So I spent like 12 years of my life going up and down the same street.
Like leveling up, huh?
Yeah, exactly. Like, go to this school, now you move next door, and then high school, you just went across the street. You crossed the street,
Yes,
man.
right across the street.
So you quit Taekwondo to focus on school, quote unquote. What was your GPA when you graduated?
Yeah, should have quit Taekwondo a lot sooner. I think my GPA when I graduated was like 2.6. Very low. I wasn't good at a lot of classes, mainly my electives. As far as general courses, the only thing I was actually like good at, like really good at, was math.
Really?
Yeah, that was it. For some reason, numbers just came so easily to me.
That was the one that I tanked every year.
Really?
Consistently. Yeah. Terrible at math. Terrible at math. Great at everything else. Dragged my SAT score to the ground, basically.
Yeah.
It was bad. It was real bad.
Yeah, those math sections can be tough.
So what did you do after school?
After school, I just kind of tried to find my way through life. Because right after I had stopped doing Taekwondo, kind of developed a little bit of a drinking problem in high school.
Sure.
What age did you start drinking at?
So I started drinking at 16. And it happened after an experience at a party. And at that point, I just kind of fell into it. There was ways I would get like bottles of alcohol. I'd show up to first hour just completely smacked.
Now, how many times did you drink during high school, like on a weekly basis?
On a weekly basis, like 3 to 4 days a week, I would go to school just shit-faced. I'd have a flask on me, drink in the bathroom, hide that. It became a problem like throughout the years, and I don't know, like both my parents, I know my mom has had trouble drinking, and it just kind of like given how I was raised, kind of always felt like it was going to end up being that thing for me. And now I've had to slow down significantly.
Could you consider yourself a functional drinker?
Absolutely. Yeah. When I was working last year, I would even start showing up. Like, I wouldn't go to work unless I was already 4 shots deep. Take another shot out in the car during break. It was a very functioning thing, and it just got to be a problem, especially since recently.
Why did the problem develop? Was there some issues going on in your life that you were trying to cope with, or?
Yeah, there was a lot of issues. My family dynamic is pretty out there. Having odds and ends with how I was raised, growing up with my mom's boyfriend was challenging.
Sure.
Given his drinking and anger, given my dad's anger issues, it was kind of drinking became a way to like cope with reality, kind of like as a means of like just getting away from it all.
Make things easier.
Yeah, numb the pain.
Did you grow up with alcohol in the house?
Oh, absolutely. There was always alcohol in the house every weekend. I would fall asleep to the sounds of just people screaming drunk at each other.
How do you think that changed you as a person?
I think, I mean, impacts of like family dynamics can have a significantly higher effect on children.
Yeah.
It You're a product of your environment, and I think the way that I was raised definitely affected that. Because you look at it as like, maybe I can't escape this, like, or I can't get out, or I can't change, and then you develop the same patterns as the people around you.
Did you feel like everything was hopeless when you were 16?
Pretty much, I felt like I was stuck. Like, this is going to be my life. And, I didn't have a lot of friends growing up and throughout high school. I was always kind of like the odd one out. I had people who I was close to, didn't really hang out with outside of school. So I was definitely introverted and didn't get out much, wasn't able to socialize. And when you're not able to socialize, you kind of look towards drinking as just a more of an escape.
Why do you think that was? Why do you think that you weren't very good at socializing or didn't have a lot of friends?
So I actually have 3 older sisters, and growing up with that, I always got along more well talking to girls than guys. I didn't understand guy talk and all that stuff. And it became difficult to have friends when you don't understand like the dynamic of like how guys talk, how girls talk, stuff like that.
But like you got the dress down, like you don't look like that's an issue. Although you do watch The Bachelorette sometimes.
I mean, hey, we're all just looking for love.
Yeah,
gotta
that's
see
fair.
gotta see
That's
a winner
fair.
sometimes.
Yeah, I mean people observe other people's behavior patterns and they take them for themselves, the things that they like or don't like.
Exactly.
How do you think that you've changed from 16 to how old are you?
23 now.
How do you think that you developed from 16 to 23?
I definitely had to get out more. That was the first step. Like once I got out of high school, I was like, just working my butt off, trying to. The drinking was still a problem, but it became more of just like getting out and socializing, and that's what I've been doing now. Is just like maintaining, lowering the drinking, and just like getting out and meeting new people.
What why did you decide to make that change?
I decided to make that change because at around like 18, I was going through a lot of shit. Like that was when I was at my absolute lowest. Like I was stuck at a job that I hated. Didn't feel like I had enough money to get out. I was stuck, still living with my mom and the boyfriend, and I felt like I was completely stuck, and I wanted to get out. And that's when I was like contemplating, some damaging stuff.
How many times have you has that been a thought in your head?
I think you're not really a human being unless you've at least thought about it a couple of times. But
Sure.
It's it's popped up significantly during when I was 18, and then when I was 20, and I was still having that drinking problem. You know, it really just got to when I was at really, really low points.
In your peak at 20, let's say, how much were you drinking in a week?
At my peak at 20, I was putting away freaking half a full 750 milliliter of Fireball like a day, which is not good.
Were you waking up like withdrawing and stuff?
At a certain point, yeah. The thing is, I've only recently taken the drinking problem into my own steps. About 4 months ago, I hit a low point again. Didn't want to deal with anything, but I wanted to slow down the drinking or just like stop it completely. I checked myself into a place, and they kept me there for a couple weeks, and that's when the withdrawal symptoms happened. A couple of seizures, stuff like that.
Jeez.
Did the seizures occur because of drinking?
Because of the lack of alcohol. They took me in and they set up the bed specifically for what they knew was coming.
Do they give you any like benzodiazepines or anything like that to kind of help?
Yeah, they gave me a couple of medications to help with the withdrawal symptoms. So after the like couple of seizures, you know, it started to feel better. It didn't feel good like being locked up where I was locked up.
Where were you locked up?
So I was locked up in like a psych ward of a hospital. Not in like a detox place, but like it was so weird, like.
But
'Cause
you
this
checked
was,
yourself in voluntarily.
I checked myself in voluntarily. Absolutely. I was like, this needs to stop. I need to.
Why do you think they put you in a psych ward?
This was right as COVID was. They just didn't know how to handle the situation. So they wanted to put me somewhere else, but they ended up putting me like in a psych ward, and that was an experience because I thought I was at a low point, and then you go in and you see other people who are just kind of gone at that point.
That's really interesting.
Was there a lot of alcoholics in that psych ward?
Not a lot of alcoholics. People who were also dealing with like anger issues and stuff like that. People who were cut off from their family, or like some people who were even put in there involuntarily, or people that I just knew were not going to be able to get out.
Did you get to like socialize with these people at all?
Very difficult to socialize with a person who's
In a psych ward.
not there completely. Like when you're trying to be in, it's just like, oh boy.
Yeah, no, that makes complete sense. So right now you're not currently working.
Actually, I am currently working. Got a job a few months ago with Moderno Porcelain Works.
So what do you do?
So we install like kitchen countertops, showers, walls, stuff like that. It's porcelain's like a new thing that people are trying out in their like kitchens and stuff. It's been in Europe for like 6 or so years, really popular over there, and it's just now getting to the U.S. To replace like granite or like quartz countertops, stuff like that.
Is porcelain pretty heavy?
It's actually really light because when they ship it to us, they come on these slabs and they're about 125 pounds for like a 6x9 slab of porcelain. Mainly how we manufacture that is we cut the pieces to where we need it, and we'll have like drops on it so that it looks like it's blending and kind of water falling over, and we actually put just regular foam on the bottom of it, but it makes it rock solid.
What's the cost difference between granite and porcelain?
So porcelain's actually a little bit more expensive because of that.
Really?
But with quartz and like granite and stuff like that, porcelain doesn't deteriorate. That's the big selling point. Is like, and it's sturdy as hell. I mean, it's delicate like glass. When we get the slabs, they're only about a 1/4 inch thick. It's like working with glass. And porcelain will not stain, will not deteriorate, won't lose any of its color. As far as with quartz and stuff like that, you know, there's deterioration over time.
I really like my granite countertops, so
But you'd pay a pretty penny to get some porcelain in there.
Yeah, and it was an extra slab that they had, so I paid like 250 for all of the granite in my kitchen.
Yeah.
It was a steal at the time.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, you told me something that people don't know about you. What do you think your greatest strength is?
I think my greatest strength is like giving people comforting advice when they're at their low points, because that's where I've been multiple times. And like now I'm like coping with, I just want to be there for people. Like that's why I've never met a person that I can say I strongly like hate, cuz at the end of the day like I just want to be there and try to help as many people as I can.
Do you feel like you didn't have that support when you're at your low points?
No, that's actually, I had a lot of support when I was at my low points, and that's why I feel like obligated to be there for everyone. Even if you're not okay with this person and this person are okay, like I can't cut either person off. Like I just want to be there for both.
Yeah. And I think, at this point in our lives, we're past the age where you need to be on one person's side or not definitively. Like, if I have a problem with you and Seth's both of our friends, he can hang out with whoever he wants. Like, it doesn't matter.
Exactly. And that's the thing that's so hard like to decide is something that I came to a realization, a while ago, is like you can't make everybody happy.
No.
There's always going to be someone who like doesn't like you for any reason or like that. You can't get everyone to be on your side about something.
Yeah.
It sucks, but it's reality.
If you could change one thing in the world, what would it be?
Oh man, that's a tough one. There's a lot that like I would absolutely like to change. I would like to change like family dynamics, or like view how people come about their certain situations.
Can you expound on that a little bit?
So it's very difficult question.
Yeah. Take your time.
I would say there needs to be like more significant punishment for domestic violence issues.
Why do you feel that way?
It's just something that I've had to deal with growing up, and I'm kind of sick of like how the justice system looks at that kind of thing.
What do you think is the ideal solution for domestic violence? Like, if
Man hits a woman, lock him up, throw away the key.
so, you think harsher enforcement, just
Yeah.
black and white.
I mean, the whole justice system as a whole needs to be reworked.
Are you more for increasing punishment, or
Yeah, absolutely.
what about for like nonviolent crimes? Like theft or
As far as theft goes, I don't want to incriminate myself. A theft, I don't know what the punishment usually for that is.
it's
but
usually a slap on the wrist as long as it's under X amount of dollars.
That's fine then. I mean, petty theft is like petty theft. But
What about drugs?
as far as drugs, yeah, definitely harsher enforcement. But given the current situation with legalizing marijuana currently, it's kind of like grandfathered in of like how.
Well, let's just throw marijuana out the window. Let's say you're shooting up heroin or you're selling heroin. How about that?
Yeah, that definitely needs to be harsher, because that shit'll fucking kill you. I actually had one of my dad's buddies' friends died of that a couple of years ago. I didn't even know how we were connected. My dad would tell me stories about one of his buddies that he knew. His son was into it, and I was working at FedEx at the time, and I was getting close with one of my coworkers, a buddy of mine, and one day I start seeing him like crying at work, and I go over and he's like, my best friend just OD'd on heroin. And I went to my dad that same night, and he told me about I didn't even know it was the same kid, like how they were connected. He overdosed actually twice in because he passed out at a red light while he was on it. And when they brought him to the hospital, the person who sold him the heroin brought him some more.
In the hospital.
He died in a hospital bathroom. And they never caught the guy who gave it to him.
Wow.
And now I just can't even.
How do you do that?
How do you like?
Give a person heroin in a hospital.
Yeah, bring it to them like right after they overdose.
Like,
and
you
be
know
like,
that
"Here's
you're
some more."
taking away the guy's life at that point.
Yeah,
If you sell someone a drug and they overdose and you sell them the drug again, you are killing them.
yeah. And that's a harsh reality. Is like I hope that person feels so guilty about it. Like I wish to death like that they would catch him.
Well, someone like that probably doesn't have much of a conscience to begin
No.
with.
No, not at all.
Would you say that the domestic issues that you had growing up, did they make you a better person overall in terms of the way that you adapted from it? Or do you think it made you...
I think it definitely made me a better person because of it, because now I know like what I will never do in life.
Yeah.
Just as far as like, you know, the drinking and screaming and violence, it's just something I can't look at the same. Like it's just something I would never be able to do in life. And it's like the furthest thing of what I want to be.
Do you think that you carried that with you into previous romantic relationships?
Absolutely. It's definitely carried over in the sense of like maybe I don't know how to control when I was, you know, at my low point of drinking, I definitely didn't know how to control my emotions cuz I do kind of in a way, my mom's boyfriend, when he drinks, he doesn't let his emotions out. Doesn't he leaves everything bottled up, and then when he drinks, it explodes. And recently that was a situation that I had developed where I bottled my emotions of something I knew, and I exploded after drinking.
Do you think that the statement of drunk talk is sober thought?
Yep, I firmly believe that drunk talk is sober thoughts. I mentioned that even last night too to a couple people. When you're in a different state of mind, a lot of things come across more different than if you were sober. And now it's just to the point where if I'm dealing with something and I know I've been drinking, I just put it to the side. I'm like, if I've been drinking, I'm just gonna wake up, deal with it sober.
Yeah. Like, there's better times to address it then.
Yeah, there's absolutely much better times. And when you're drunk is not a good time to assess something.
What's your biggest regret in life?
Catching a dub. If I, you know, obviously that night, you know, catching the DUI was not an ideal situation. If there was one thing I would regret in life, it would be getting in that car that night.
What was your blood alcohol content?
When they pulled me over, it was only like a .113. And by the time they let me out of the station, it was at, unfortunately, a .09. If it was a .08, they would have, you know, given me the slap on the wrist, all that stuff. But I asked the officer when we got to the station, I'm like, if you didn't have that breathalyzer, would you have taken me in? He would have been like, no, all the field sobriety tests you freaking nailed. And that's perks of, I guess, all the years of drinking becoming a functioning alcoholic. Being able to present yourself as sober when you know you're not.
Well, I mean, because, like, your body, realistically speaking, it adapts to the alcohol. Like, your BAC can go up, but you can
Exactly.
still have full control because your body's adapted to the alcohol.
Oh yeah, that was another instance of one of my dad's friends. He recently had brain surgery because they found a tumor the size of an egg in his head.
Oh, wow.
And he was, if we're going to talk about a functioning alcoholic, where I'm at and where he's at, two completely different levels. He was putting away an entire bottle of Phillips giant liter ones a day.
Oh.
And that was rough. And, you know, they did the brain surgery on him. I asked, like, my dad, like, what are the odds of survival on that? And he held out a quarter and said, flip it. 50-50 on whether he'd live or die. And after that, he only stopped drinking for maybe a couple months, and now he's back on it, and it's like so disappointed. But it's when you deal with alcoholics growing up, I've heard so many times like, yeah, I'm not gonna drink ever again, and like 2 weeks later it's gonna be different. They're gonna be right back on it.
I really hate the dynamic that society puts on drinking.
Like how they make people feel about it.
Yeah, like society tells you it's okay. You go to any function with friends in our age bracket, there's going to be alcohol around.
Yep. And as the kid, they push it on you to like, don't do this, don't do that, don't drink.
Movies.
Yeah, exactly.
Movies romanticize it all the time. It's so crazy. I mean, and we're in a weird time because like pot's starting to become legal.
Mm-hmm.
And like you could go to anybody and it's a coin flip whether they support it or not, whether they support weed or not.
I think in a way, like, everyone understands like what weed is. It's kind of weird. Like, I have a couple people religiously in my family who are like completely against it, but they understand what it is and like the facts of it. Like, it's never killed anybody, and there's a lot of also medicinal purposes. That's the way I look at it.
Yeah. Great for pain relief if you're suffering.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's a lot less damaging to your body than alcohol.
Oh, absolutely.
Drinking a
Yeah.
liter of
Alcohol will
schnapps.
kill you. Weed's not going to do that.
Yeah. A close family friend of mine, he was a struggling alcoholic for 20-something years, and the way he died was his esophagus ruptured, and he internally bled to death in his bathroom,
Oh my gosh.
leaning over a toilet.
Just from years of drinking.
Mm-hmm.
I actually lost my godmother just a year ago now from her liver failing because of drinking. They had actually told her 6 months prior to her dying that, like, if you don't stop drinking right now, you will die. And she still
couldn't stop.
She couldn't stop.
It's the most heartbreaking thing, man.
Yeah, it's just like not knowing and that's the thing. I didn't even know the situation at all, that she had been told that to stop drinking or you will die. And
They never do.
they never do. And I know that's a certain point. I don't want to get to an absolute low point where I just choose to stop drinking completely for my own benefit, knowing the situations of my past and like thinking like, you're probably going to be drinking again.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if I do it, I want it to be like a gradual, like, just you're drinking less, and that's where I'm at right now. Like, even now, I still do drink, but I don't drink. I'm at a point in my life where I'm not drinking to numb the pain anymore. Like, it just feels like there's not a lot of pain. There's no bad influences on my life. I'm in a much better position now, to where I just drink to like socialize and have fun. Like, it's not about ending up on the floor.
How has coronavirus impacted your life and lockdown and staying at home?
Right when COVID started in March, I was actually working 2 jobs. One at Culligan Water and at a bar, which wasn't an ideal situation when you're
working at a bar.
Yeah, really ideal situation because we would take shots too, like while we were working.
Oh,
it was
absolutely,
fun.
yeah.
It was fun times. Right when COVID started and they locked down the bars, I ended up losing both jobs. Had to file for that unemployment stuff.
Yeah.
Realized I was making more money from that than when I was actually working.
Isn't that the weirdest thing?
Yeah, they were giving me over $1,000 a week.
I don't understand why they didn't just increase it to like 100% or 80% of your income, like instead of because I had a friend who was working part-time as like a swim instructor, and she was making like $200 a week, and now she's making $800 a week. She was making more money than I was.
Yeah, we'll
working
see
full time.
We're gonna see how that goes when tax season comes in. When people start filing their taxes, people are gonna be like, so all that money you gave me, you're saying you want it back now?
Taxed,
Yeah, it's taxed.
It's taxed. You gotta have money set aside. But I mean, most people in that income bracket are probably okay.
Yeah.
Assuming, like if if your exemptions are 0 and you're making 25,000 a year, you'll probably be okay.
Yeah.
You're just not getting a big check at the end.
Yeah, and even right now, like I think with the math I've done in my head, like I'm getting like 25 to 26,000 a year with the apprenticeship at the porcelain place,
Okay.
and they offered after the 2 years of experience, they go, we'll bump you up to a whopping 63. I'm like, okay,
That's not bad.
it's not bad for what it is, like because the starting position was just as an apprentice, making about like only $15 an hour now, and just sticking with it, and then I can go back to school once I get that salary.
Did you ever go to college?
I did for a little bit, couple years of just generals, just to get that out of the way. But I never really knew what I wanted to do specifically, so I didn't take any specific courses.
Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
I gotta say, working at this job probably, or at least working at this job still, because there's actual growth within the company right now because it's so new. There's like less than 70 employees, so the more I stick with it, the more likely I am to keep going up, and probably just see myself just making money on the sides too, like probably with stocks and investments.
Yeah.
Because that is a young man's game, and I'm thankfully still young.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't mind gambling that money right now in the stocks. You
Oh,
know?
we'll be doing plenty of gambling.
Yeah.
Plenty.
It's a lot of fun, honestly. Because, I mean, I could go to the bathroom at work, like, take a leak every hour. I drink a lot of water, so I just, every hour I chug it. Oh, let's just trade that. Let's trade that.
Yeah.
Get some buy alerts, make some buys, make
That's-
some sells.
Yeah, that's what I'd really like to get to is like stocks and investing and stuff because like I feel like it is kind of a numbers game and you have to be good at math or at least somewhat or business. And if math was the one thing I was good at in high school, why shouldn't I at least try it?
Yeah.
Try to get some knowledge into it.
100%.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. It's a good idea. That's what I'm actually worried about for tax season.
When they come for your investments.
How much I've made in the stock market this year with coronavirus. Because, like, I haven't really crunched the exact numbers, but...
Untaxable Bitcoin.
I should have bought more Ethereum or something. Oh, well, what do you do? So you're really good at math.
Yep. Pretty decent.
What subject were you best at? Trig?
Trig?
Calc?
No, it was, yeah, definitely. Calc wasn't the easiest thing in the world. That was a little bit tricky. The worst subject in math that I had was actually geometry. The best one I had was exceeding and was like just the algebra.
If you could go back to 16-year-old you before you took that first drink, what would you tell yourself?
I would tell myself exactly where it's gonna have me end up. Just try to scare myself into not taking it at all.
Do you think that would have changed your decision at all? 16-year-old you?
6-year-old me was definitely easy to influence.
Really?
It was definitely easy to convince me to not either to do something or not do something.
That's interesting. Where did you get your first sip of alcohol from? What was the situation?
Oh, I would just start drinking underneath where they would hide the bottles under the cabinets in my house.
But what was the first event?
The first event that I ever drank was actually at a party when I was 16, between the summer of sophomore and junior year. I had a crush on this girl for a long time, like from 8th grade all the way to then. And she invited me to a party during the summer. And I didn't know how to properly drink at that point. I didn't know that when you make a drink, you kind of supposed to mix it with something, or like if you're making a cocktail.
Yeah.
So what I had was a red Solo cup, and I filled it about 75% of the way with just straight UV blue. because UV blue was I guess the thing, when you're
Gosh,
6.
I think that's probably what I drank the first
Yeah,
time.
my first
Dude,
drink.
if the first drink you had wasn't like high school you drinking UV blue, what are you
Yeah.
doing? And I didn't know the ratio, so I filled it up to about here with UV blue, and then topped it off with just a little bit of Sprite, and I downed it within like 10 minutes,
Oh gosh, buddy.
and it just floored me because more people kept giving me drinks, and like I didn't know what I had just done or set myself up for. Like, brought the girl to the side that I had a crush on, drunkenly told her like that I had feelings for her and shit like that, and then just puked in the bathroom and blacked out. Just didn't even know what happened.
Did it work though? Did you get the girl?
No. So what actually ended up happening is I woke up and I went down and talked to her in the morning, and she was like telling me what I had said and did, and she was just like, "Oh, I just don't have those kinds of feelings for you." And I was like, "Oh, okay."
At least she was honest about it.
Yeah, she was honest about it, and then she invited me over to a party the next night, and what actually ended up happening was she ended up getting super drunk, and there was a dude at the party, and while I was like 10 feet away from the door, just after being shut down and stuff, she took him into her room while I'm just right next to the door, and it's just like, bad scenario. And then that was actually my first instance of drinking and driving. I took a swig of a bottle. 16-year-old me just decided to drive home right there.
Where'd you get that tattoo from? Like, where'd you get the idea for that?
So the idea for the tattoo so it's some roses and then a clock. The clock is actually set at the time 3:33 because that's the time I was born at. The roses are to symbolize balance. Just balance in life of like everything that you can go through. But what's actually funny about that night in question with the girl, 2 years later, about 2 weeks before graduation, senior year, she came up to me and she was like, "Hey, can you give me a ride home?" Just out of the blue, out of nowhere, because we had the last class together, which was like IB Math Studies or something like that. And I was like, "Okay, I'll just give you a ride home." And this was like, we had advisement together every week, so I would have to see her in like, every Wednesday for 4 years. And we get to her place, and she starts saying like, "You were always the nice guy. Like you were always nice to me, even though like all the stuff I've done to you." And she like ended up kissing me. I'm like, "What? Are you kidding me? It's been 2 years since that incident. You think I care?"
Yeah.
And I actually ended up breaking her heart just because she had those feelings for me finally. And it's just like, it's too late.
You didn't have him anymore.
I didn't have him anymore. I had been, and I was still drinking at that point too. So it's just like, I've been coping. Sorry.
What's something that you want to talk about besides alcohol?
Honestly, we can talk about anything. Absolutely. That's not alcohol related.
I just feel like we've been talking a lot about alcohol. It's a pretty morbid conversation.
It is.
What do you do for hobbies?
So for hobbies, I'm actually really into UFC. Watching the UFC fights.
Makes sense.
But like keeping up with those. Because me and Ian will have like our fight nights on Sundays. Invite a couple people over, do a little sparring sessions. So unfortunately, like I'm out of Taekwondo, but I'm still in that fighting spirit, I guess.
Well, as long as it's fun games,
Yeah.
As long as there's anything wrong with.
As long as nobody gets hurt. I say that after this, only like a month after I got flung into a mirror and broke Alex's mirror. Sorry, Alex.
At least you didn't get hurt.
Not just a couple holes in the foot from that. Little bit of blood.
Yeah, I've been there.
Yeah.
There's a dent in my fridge from my head slamming against it.
Oh, from your head?
Yeah. Yeah, I was wrestling with someone.
Oh, yeah.
I got thrown into the fridge.
Oh, jeez.
It's kind of nice as a guy to do those things, though. You know, like
Yeah,
it
just
really,
to get a
yeah,
little hurt, like
yeah.
hey, guy stuff.
Like guys are
Yeah.
on paper that sounds totally dumb, but like it's how men
It's just written in the code, like
historically,
it's just in the
yeah,
genetic
we
code.
used to like. You look at 3,000 years ago, we were fighting saber-toothed tigers all day. And now we sit at office jobs or like manufacture porcelain. Like we just need that stimulation. We need a little fight or flight every now and again. It's what
Exactly.
keeps us in shape.
Yeah.
It's crazy to me how much the body, like you have to keep working your body to be healthy.
Yeah.
Like we're designed to move around more and be active.
Yeah, and the entire population is like like 3/4 of the population is like overweight too.
I know, it's so depressing.
It's bad. It's a bad situation.
Yeah. Like people talk about flipping healthcare costs, but then like 60% of the people are obese. It's like, bro,
Yeah, we've definitely devolved.
yeah.
I would say from that. I want to go back to fighting the saber-tooths.
Yeah,
Come on,
have
let's
you-
go.
like, there's a chart that you can look at that I was playing around with. It's like overweight population by years, and then in the 70s it's like 5% of people are obese, 10 to 15 are
And then
overweight.
McDonald's came in.
Yeah, and then the tech boom happened, and now everybody's sitting at office job. Like I just sit at a chair all day. It's the worst. I hate it. I hate the fact that I don't move around at all at work. It's awful. It's not good.
Yeah, that was the one perk I liked from my job. Like you're lifting these heavy things, you're like just working with your hands, working with tools, like just being active completely. It's like be a man.
Yeah.
Do manly things.
Yeah. I almost miss that aspect, you know?
Yeah.
Like my first job, I was a janitor at an amusement park, but I was walking around outside in the sun all day. Like, as far as staying in shape, I was walking like 10 miles a day for the job, and I'm standing
When
in
I
the
worked at
sun.
Target, yeah, it was just walking from one end to the store, like put away 5 miles in a day.
Man, I was so lean too, because I could eat anything.
Yeah.
It was great. Now I go a couple weeks without working out, and I'm like, oh.
Yeah,
really
especially
feel
with the
wasted.
gyms being shut down
Yeah.
now too. It's like even harder to
It's
actually
winter
get
time.
away. And it's winter time, but like we see how nice it is outside right now, don't we?
Yeah,
This-
but
this has been a
nice
weird
outside
winter.
is like 28 degrees.
Still Minnesota nice though. That's like I'll just go out in a vest.
It's all about perspective.
Perspective, yeah. I don't know, like this is gonna be an interesting Christmas, like with the whole COVID thing happening too. I don't know. Any big plans for you guys?
I'm going home to California.
Oh, talking about the cold weather here. He's like,
Yeah.
I'm running.
I'm
running
out.
away.
Soaking up the sun in California by myself is gonna be pretty sick. Can't wait.
Lucky.
How has your family handled COVID? Are they like angsty about you coming home, or do they not really care?
I've given them reassurance because I actually got COVID last month. And I don't know what that, if there's a certain point of like being immune to it or not being able to catch it, I'm not sure. But I'm planning on going to take a test tomorrow, another one, just because right now the situation with two of my sisters, you know, my sister Leah has her two boys, and my sister Allie currently is 27 weeks pregnant. Is that it? I want to say, yeah, she's 27 weeks, so she's definitely nervous about the whole thing. But I'm just going in for the test tomorrow to get the reassurance and be like, okay, I'm fine. Everybody come
We're
home.
good. Yeah.
Yeah, we're good.
Did you get real sick when you had COVID, or what was your symptoms like?
It wasn't actually as bad as what I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
Because I felt the symptoms, or I felt a little bit sore neck, maybe a light cough on a Sunday night, and I woke up and I just couldn't move. Like it felt almost like not even like a flu. It felt like pneumonia. Just like it took so much energy just to move. And then after that first day of just like lying in bed all day, it was like gone. All it was a cough, and it felt like just a regular cold. And I still had to like sit there for another 2 weeks in the basement, just like isolated.
That's so bizarre. It's so crazy. Like,
The amount of differences people will
Yeah.
have with their instance with COVID, yeah.
cause I just lost my sense of smell for a week.
Yep, I lost my sense of smell and taste for a few days there too.
I didn't have a stuffy nose at all. I didn't lose my sense of taste. I had no no cold symptoms at all. I just
Couldn't.
picked up my laundry. I left my laundry in the washer for too long, so I think some of it got mildewy. But it got put into the basket with the clean clothes that I had. So I went upstairs and I was like, it smells kind of off, like it might be moldy. And I was sitting there going, and I'd smell the other one, like stuff that I knew was probably not smelling good, and
And there's just nothing there.
Could not differentiate
Wow.
whether my laundry was moldy or not.
Yeah, I didn't notice until like my dad had brought me down a Mountain Dew and a Pepsi from the gas station. He's like, "Here, drink this." I'm like drinking. I'm like, and there's nothing. Couldn't taste it at all. It's horrible.
Just tastes flat.
Yeah, it just tasted like flats and like bland soda, like RC Cola. God.
Ooh.
I will say, I think I had a little. Maybe I did have a little bit of a dull taste, because I do remember at one point I took a swig of like vodka or something, and I
Oh
was
yeah,
like,
that'll.
I was like, "There's no. It just tastes like water.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't
Perks.
even bad.
A little bit of a perk there.
Yeah, like oh my
I don't,
gosh.
like not only do I not taste things, but I don't taste alcohol.
Yeah. Wow, winning, man.
This COVID thing is great.
It's absolutely nuts.
Yeah.
Do you work out pretty frequently? Would you say, or you look like you're in pretty good shape?
Yeah, I try to work out like a little as much as I can with the whole restrictions now in place. Like I'll do like home ab workouts or like because me and Ian just got the new body bag set up in the garage, go out and like have some fun with that, punch that a little bit, get a little bit of cardio in. But as far as like once the gyms open back up, I gotta go like every single day. Every day is gym.
Yeah,
They just opened up today in Minnesota.
25%.
Really? 25% capacity.
Yeah, which is not much. I think
Yeah, I
it's
feel
still
like
gonna
it's-
be hard to get into the gym,
Yeah.
especially with Christmas and stuff.
But if I can go back to the gym now, shoot, I know what I'm gonna be doing this week.
Yeah, right. Go at 2 a.m. That's the only
Not
time
even
you'll
that.
be able to get in.
Yeah, I don't think the gym. Well, the gyms aren't 24/7 now. I think anymore. Like they're still on the restrictions of like time. So I just have to go in after work, which is fine because like I'll just go in dirty, put on the gym clothes, and still come out dirty.
It's kind of crazy to me. Like when you're working out, you feel good, right?
Oh yeah,
You feel like $1,000,000.
oh yeah,
But then like you stop working out for a couple days, and then you're like, I don't want to. Like you just completely forget about how great it made you feel.
that's why I have to go like every single day because I don't want to get to that point of just like
I don't
I,
want to.
I don't want to go.
And every time, even in my head, when I'm like, what I've tried to do in the past is have a gym bag packed every day.
Just ready to go.
Yeah, so that way, if I
No prep.
miss my morning, I have to hit it because it's like on the way home too, you know.
Yep.
And I'll be half the time I would say, oh, I don't even want to go work out, and then I'd get done and I'd say, wow, that was a great idea. I'm so glad I did that.
And that's the thing, like people go like will shrug it off as like, oh, I really don't want to work out, but it's like when you actually do it, once you leave, like you feel so much better. Like
It's like an adrenaline rush.
yeah, and it should be an adrenaline rush, getting that like euphoric sense of like I'm feeling good right
Yeah,
now.
and then you go look at yourself in the mirror when you go to shower, and you're like, dang,
Dang, this was worth
I
it.
look good.
I'm like,
Yeah.
damn, I'm still fat.
No, you're not.
That's why you guys just keep going.
Come with me to the gym, man.
Which one do you go to?
I go to the Experience Fitness over.
In Blaine?
Yeah, I think it's Blaine or Coon Rapids over by that.
Well, there's like the Coon Rapids one off, those are like 610 or something, and then there's one on 65.
Okay, yeah, so it's got to be the Coon Rapids one I'm going to off 610 because I take that exit on to Coon Rapids Boulevard.
Oh, yeah, that's
So
the
it's
Coon Rapids one.
definitely that one.
I work next door to the one in Blaine, so I was thinking about. My boss has been telling me that I could take a lunch break and go work out at the gym. And
I
come
would
back.
take that opportunity.
Yeah, I need to. It's so bad, man. I've just been so lazy.
Just
with
or
trying to
just
get-
like walk into the gym like, can I borrow this dumbbell for like 50 minutes? Go back into work. You're just in the break room. Just hey guys,
I
what's
do.
up?
We do have dumbbells in the office too. I have them sitting upstairs next to my flipping bed, but I've just been so lazy. It's terrible. I need to get back on the horse.
Mm-hmm.
In a week.
Just whenever you want. Message me. We'll go to the gym. I'll
Oh,
give you the
yeah.
whole thing.
Is there anything else I should know about you, your life, that we haven't covered?
It is a complete open book. If there's anything you even want to ask me.
I think we got most of it, buddy.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Well, I really appreciate you coming on.
Oh,
We're
absolutely.
gonna do the final question here. What's your favorite sandwich?
Philly cheesesteak. Hands down.
Philly cheesesteak. What kind of cheese on that Philly cheesesteak?
Obviously, the only kind that should be Cheese Whiz. The fake Kraft Cheese Whiz.
You're a Cheese Whiz guy.
It should be. As it should be.
Do you get like what else do you get on your Philly cheesesteak? Onions, bell peppers.
Yeah, just chopped up onions and peppers. But
Yeah.
it's the bread that's the most important. It's got to be the
What
the
type of bread? Do you like ciabatta or?
Not ciabatta, like the actual, I don't know what they call it over in Philly. It's like a specific kind of bread.
We'll just call it Philly bread.
Yeah, sure. Philly cheesesteak bread.
Do you like
good.
it toasted or?
No, not even toasted.
You like your bread a little soft and cold? And
Well,
then
it should be soft. It should be absorbing the meat from the
Yeah.
juice of the meat.
I love when it's like, yeah, it's got that juice and it just soaks into the bread a little bit.
Yep.
Then really go for some like Jersey Mike's.
Yeah, they got Philly
The
cheesesteaks there.
Chipotle
Ooh.
cheesesteak
Yep.
with a couple jalapeno peppers thrown in there. Oh my gosh.
Extra mayo.
The goal of this was just to make me hungry.
We always do that, and then we're just hungry for the rest of the day.
That's why this is the last question.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's been really great hearing about your life. I didn't know those things about you, and definitely changed the way that my perspective of you. And it's nice to go beyond the surface and figure out what's really going on in your life.
Yeah, man.
So I really appreciate it. I think you're a great guy. I think you got a lot of upswing potential. And,
Oh yeah, it's all ups from here.
Yeah, I'm
the
really-
downs are done.
Yeah, I'm really happy to hear that you've been moving forward and progressing as a human, and I'm excited to see how that continues as I get to know you a little more in the future.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
All right, let's call it a wrap.